It's here, YouTube. The time is now. If you've been watching my channel, I've spent the past few years talking about AI stocks, about AI, how people are going to be left behind, how we all need to prepare. And as of now, 2026, a lot of these things are panning out and things are starting. People are just now starting to wake up to things that people like me and others in AI have been saying for the past few years. If you've been watching the news recently, I know you're seeing all the layoffs due to AI, the inflation's high, we got the Trump economy, and this is the type of thing that on this channel we've been talking about and preparing for years. Like, I've been saying for a long time that you need to invest in AI stocks. You need to learn AI. You need to stop focusing so much on the old way of doing things. And I wouldn't say time has run out, but we're in the pressure zone at this point. Like someone like me, I spent a lot of 2020, late 2024, early 2025 learning AI. I spent 2022, 2023 buying a lot of AI stocks like Palantir and Nvidia to prepare for this situation. Because what's going on now with the job layoffs, with the rise of artificial intelligence, with the rise of Claude, and we're going to talk more about that later in this video, the time is now. What I'll tell people is, if you haven't built up assets like stocks that are tied to AI, if you haven't developed any AI related skills, if you haven't been setting yourself up preparing for this, it's gonna get harder. It's already getting hard, and I would advise you to lock in now, because I feel like even though it's hard right now, 2026 I feel is your last chance before things completely break down. And what am I talking about? We see it in the headlines. I just looked at a Goldman Sachs report. Goldman Sachs is saying that people are having trouble getting new jobs when they get laid off. You're hearing people say everywhere that they've had to put in 200 applications, 400 applications, 1,400 applications just to get a job. And when they get the job, it pays less. I've seen it when I was in the gig economy. I went from making 70,000+ a year doing gig work till they click a button and the pay cut in half. If I didn't have AI stocks and I wasn't an investor, that would have probably devastated me. And at this point, I'm transitioning into selling some of my AI skills. Like, I'll build workflows for small businesses and I'll sell them to them for a monthly retainer. You've probably seen it on the internet. It's called an AI agency. But I would not be able to do these things if I did not build up these type of skills before shit hit the fan, as it is now. So what do I think people need to do right now? First and foremost, I feel like what's going on in the stock market right now is really giving people a last chance to get involved in AI. Like, the stocks aren't as cheap as they were in 2023 when ChatGPT is new, but due to the situation with Claude, due to the situation with Trump, the war, and all these things, a lot of these assets have gotten knocked down, at least some. Like Palantir, for example. It went from $7-8 all the way to $200, and they finally knocked it down to the 120, 130 range. Now, is that a discount like the discount I got when I was buying it between 8 and 20? No. But it's much better than the stock taking off and just going crazy and everybody getting left behind. So I would advise people to use this time. Any money you do have that you can save, that you can invest, get involved in these AI stocks. Because with Claude, I'm looking at what they're saying. They're saying the company's growing to like 30 billion in revenue in a couple of months. We've never seen that before. And it's because they're replacing labor budgets. Not just IT budgets, not just tech budgets. They're replacing labor budgets. People are trading their employees in for Claude. And I've been using Claude myself a lot. I do a lot of my building with Claude. So they're saying when OpenAI and Claude IPO, both of those companies are going to be worth probably $1 trillion plus when they IPO, which is something we've never seen before in the history of the market. That's like, you know, even as someone who can deal with some valuation risk, that's overvalued even in my standard, but I don't want to just throw out the word overvalued. You know, we got to wait till these companies come out and see more of the real numbers and revenue, because if they are gaining income from actual employee budgets, they could technically be undervalued. We'll see when they come out. But what I would tell people to really lock in right now is investing and learning. Like right now, I say the only opportunity, I ain't gonna say the only opportunity, but the smartest opportunity right now is to just take advantage of the times. If people don't know what GPT stands for, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you do, it stands for general purpose technology. And what it is, I think the reason that a lot of people don't understand what's going on right now is because none of us were in live the last time a general purpose technology came out. The last big general purpose technologies would be the telephone, would be electricity, would be the original car, not the self-driving car, the original car, not the smartphone, the original phone. And if you go back in history and look at what was going on before that technology and after, is drastic. If you look at the world before the telephone, we were on telegrams. People were sending messages through the Pony Express. The Titanic sunk because they couldn't get the message out fast enough. Fast forward to today and telephones, and everybody could reach everybody instantly. Same with cars. We went from horses to cars. I'm pretty sure that changed the economy. The same with electricity. When we went from fire to electricity, it completely changed everything, the way the world works, the way the world is done. AI is a similar technology. It's a general purpose technology. So what we all have to be doing is, even though it's not early, it's actually still early. Like ChatGPT came out in 2023, the end of 2023. We're in the beginning of 2026. So technically it hasn't even been 3 years. So it's still very early, but at the same time, things have taken off. Things are going down. Like, people are using these tools to make money. If you use Instagram, TikTok, I know you've seen all the AI videos, the Pooh Shiesty, Gucci Man, AI cartoons, all that. And what I'll tell people is, those are the opportunities right now. Like, this is a investment channel, and we invest in stocks. And I still like, you know, a lot of the same stocks. I like Palantir right now. I like Microsoft. I like ServiceNow. And we're going to be doing more deep dives. I'm going to be giving you guys, you know, some chart action soon. But in 2026, I actually feel like the biggest opportunity is not the stock market right now. The biggest opportunity is AI itself, because it's new. Most people don't know how to use it. And everybody's going to need it whether they like it or not. So please don't be out here ignoring AI. Please don't be out here sitting on the sidelines. Don't be out here trying to keep your head down, because right now we're in the early innings of this thing. In the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, everything's going to get much realer. And in the stock market, we've been saying it for a minute. We're in what's called a K-shaped economy. It's like the letter K. You got a group of people going up and a group of people going all the way down. And for the first time in history, that's not gonna be decided by what your job title is. That's not necessarily gonna be decided by what you're doing for work. It's gonna be decided by your ability to use AI and your ability to sell, basically. Because the world is going into not something that's never been in before, but something we've not seen in our lifetime. I was listening, when I first listened to these things back when I heavily started investing in AI, one of the first things that caught my attention was one of the doomsday predictions. Now, I hope it don't get this real, but I prepare for it to get this real. They were saying that if you go back to when we were in school, or if you're a little older than me, when you were in school, in medieval times, there was no middle class. You had kings, queens, and peasants. There was no upward mobility. There was no way to go from class to class. The only way to advance a class was to go to war and don't die and come back and win. And AI is bringing that back into the forefront, unfortunately. I ain't gonna just say AI, just the way the economy is going, if things don't change. Like, the way I see it is, you've got the businessmen, you've got the investor class, you've got like celebrities, some high paying jobs that are immune to AI, like maybe the people working on themselves, those people are at the top. They're trying to push everybody else to the bottom. Like middle class is becoming not a thing. Like, because if you're middle class, one or two things gonna happen. If you're middle class, either you're invested correctly and you become wealthy and you move up a class, or you're not invested correctly and they knock you down to the poor class. And with the job layoffs coming, with artificial intelligence coming, with wages staying stagnant, companies like the gig economy actually wanting to cut wages, try to pay people less for the same amount of work. We're getting into a position where it's going to be very hard to be socially mobile the way we traditionally expected it. Because, all right, I'm a person who came up working 7 days a week, 70 hours a week, buying stocks with the money, buying AI stocks with the money, learning as much as I can. And I would tell somebody who tried to repeat the same process I did to make my little money, I would tell them, not that it's impossible depending on what job you got, but I would tell people it'd be a lot harder to do what I did. Like, I was making 70 plus K doing DoorDash, doing gig work, and I was saving a lot of money in the stocks. Can someone who comes into the gig economy right now make that kind of money and save the kind of money I did? I don't know. Maybe, but probably not. It would be a lot harder. And with that being said, we've got things like social media content creation. Now, if you do want to become a social media creator or a content creator, now is the time, because we've also got AI coming to this. YouTube and all these things are already saturated when you're competing against other YouTubers, trolls, haters, all these things. But then once we factor in the fact you're going to have to compete against AI influencers that can be anywhere, do anything, and possibly be way more entertaining, it's going to be very hard to get followers, to get subscribers. And I would tell people, just start, because every subscriber means so much more than the last era, and people don't realize it yet. Because with AI saturating everything and making it easy for everybody to create, I would say in the next 1, 2, 3 years, you're going to start seeing everybody have products to sell. Everybody's going to have products to sell, but everybody didn't build up distribution. Like, okay, I got this product right here. This is a bottle of wine that my homeboy, my roommate has. Okay, to build that product, they didn't just make the bottle of wine and start selling it. They had to market it. They had to reach out to distributors. They probably had to put it in Kroger. They probably had to put it in CVS. So making the product isn't enough. You have to be able to distribute it, and that's where social media, YouTube, all these things come in. And what I just want to tell people is just, it's not over with yet. Things are getting harder, but we have to double down, triple down on this stuff. Like, don't count on your job to support you forever. Don't quit your job, but don't count on it to support you. You need to start building your side hustles like your main hustle. Like, you need to start taking your investments more serious. Like, you have to get out of lack of risk taking in the stock market. Now, am I telling people to go buy the latest meme coin and to buy the latest stock with no real moat that just went up 100% a day that you don't know about? God, no, I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am telling you is a lot of the traditional things we've done may not hold up against this era. Like, I believe in S&P 500 investing, but I also believe in growth stock investing. And what I tell people, a lot of people like to put all their money into the safest assets and let those assets grow slow over time. And that was a great piece of advice in the previous era, but we're in an era where, is your job actually going to keep you there 20, 30 years is the question. Are you actually going to be able to sustain your income and have your income grow for 5, 10, 20 years to justify investing in some of these safer companies like the Coca-Colas of the world? I'm not going to necessarily take that chance. So I'm more of a 50-50 kind of guy. Like, yes, I put 50% of my money in the S&P, but the other percent of my money is going to be in your Palantirs, your Nvidias, your Microsofts, Googles. And Even picks like United Health. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you see a great stock get beat down like that, and they have moats on the horizon, you can invest in those kind of things. But what people really need to do, they need to start focusing on their income, focusing on their investment strategy, and things like that. Focus on AI building, because that's what's going to take you where you need to be in this era we're coming up in, man. And, you know, I'm just giving y'all, you know, some of my thoughts, how I feel about where we're going. And, you know, I'm going to be doing some more videos on stocks soon. But, you know, I just had to get that off my chest. And it's your boy Steve from Printer Gang Investments. I'm going to see you in the next video.